A very pleasant day to you and welcome to the news on Niger Delta Television. I am George Ameli. Thanks for joining us. The opening highlights. Governor Doye Diri promises maintenance of law and order as the state marks Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Southwest governors team up against bandits. Plus, the Central Bank of Nigeria sanctions 9 banks. Details of the news. The Bayelsa State Governor, Senator Doye Diri, says his administration will always prioritize the maintenance of law and order, describing it as the foundation of a prosperous Bayelsa State. Senator Diri made the promise during the 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebrations in Yenagua. The report.
The 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day program concluded on Wednesday at the Peace Park in Yenagua, rounding off the Emblem Appeal launch, Jumat service, and interdenominational service events. Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doye Diri kickstarted the day with the inspection of a guard of honor. The clergy then prayed for the souls of the departed soldiers who paid the supreme price to keep the peace and sovereignty of Nigeria. The governor then laid the wreath and the cenotaph with other top government functionaries following suit, alongside the head of the legionnaires in Bayelsa State and the representative of widows of slain soldiers in the state.
Slowly walks towards the cenotaph. The next is, of course, His Excellency. The statue of the unknown soldier is right at the top, with his rifle on the whistling component. Excellency, I just released the pigeons.
The ceremonial gunshot as part of last respect to the fallen heroes was then fired. Governor Diri thereafter relayed his message.
Let us strive to ensure that the sacrifices of our heroes are truly reflected in the progress we achieve and the betterment of society. Only then can we truly say we have dignified their memory and their ultimate sacrifice. As we look forward to the future, we draw strength and inspiration from the courage and loyalty of these patriots. Let us endeavor to build a Nigeria that is deserving of their sacrifices. The maintenance of law and order remains a priority for our administration, as it provides the foundation upon which we are constructing a prosperous and thriving society.
A legionnaire commended the government for caring for them.
It will not be easy, but God has been the one that has been piloting. Government on its own part is trying in respect of our pension, paying, and very recently, what they were owing us, 50% have been paid, and we know that what we are expecting is palliative, which they promised all retired veterans, 25,000 naira we are still expecting.
From the Peace Park opposite Government House in Yenagua, George Ameli reporting for NDTV News.
States in the southwest are strategizing in response to the reported influx of bandits and rebels from the Islamic State's West Africa province, ISWAP, into some of the region's forests. Report says Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde revealed that bandits fleeing military operations in the northwest were seeking refuge in the state, raising the concern at the 2025 annual interfaith service for workers held at the Secretariat Agodi, Ibadan. The Ogun State government also said it had contacted relevant security agencies, including the military and the police. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, through his special advisor on media and publicity, Boyega Akosite, noted that he is consulting with his counterparts in Oyo, Osun, Ogun, Ondo, and Ekiti states, receiving daily intelligence on the state of security in the region. It will be recalled that the Department of State Service recently arrested 10 suspected members of the ISWAP in Itesa, Osun State. The arrest came to public knowledge when the DSS sought an order of a federal high court in Abuja to detain the suspects for 60 days, an order Justice Emeka Nwite granted. In the same vein, Odua People's Congress, OPC, urged all the 6 governors of the Southwest to declare a state of emergency on security matters and build camps inside Yoruba Land's forest against insurgents and terrorists fleeing the north, as it offered to help security agencies tackle the menace. The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment and the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare have collaborated to tackle irregularities in the food export system. The collaboration is also expected to encourage efforts to unlock the healthcare value chain for effective transformation. Industry, Trade and Investment Minister Dr. Jumoke Oduwole made this known on Wednesday in Abuja. Dr. Oduwole spoke while receiving the Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Muhammad Pate, who was on a courtesy visit to her office. Also responding, the NAFDAC Director General Oluokun said that Nigerians need to change their mindsets in the area of exportation of goods, adding that those regulatory agencies should regulate effectively. Oluokun said that another issue that required urgent attention was the timeline for processing certificates and private sector participation. The recommendations are clear to revisit the Export Regulation 2024 with very wide industry consultation to balance oversight with efficiency. The Director General of the Federal Produce Inspectorate Service, Mr. Defang Sule, used the opportunity to appeal to the Health Ministry for assisting in training some officers on the use of equipment to address the persistent pesticide residues in sesame seeds. News Agency of Nigeria reports that after long deliberation, the 2 ministers agreed that a team will be set up to address the issues discussed. Moving on. Gunshots erupted near the venue of the Justice Wilfred Pochi-led 3-member Edo State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal on Wednesday morning, causing widespread panic. Lawyers, litigants, politicians, and reporters scrambled for safety to avoid being hit by stray bullets. However, swift intervention by fully armed security operatives restored calm, allowing tribunal sitting at the Edo High Court complex on Sapele Road, Benin, to continue. APC chairman in the state, Jared Tenebe, condemned the incident, describing the shootings as deeply disturbing and unacceptable. He also stated that violence had no place in a civilized society, while declaring that the people responsible for the heinous act must be brought to justice swiftly and without exception. If you're just joining us, you're onto the Niger Delta Television. On the headlines, Governor Doyediri promises maintenance of law and order as the state marks Armed Forces Remembrance Day. And Southwest governors team up against bandits. Still to come in the news, Central Bank of Nigeria sanctions 9 banks. Details of these and other stories after the break. Please stay with us.
Welcome to Niger Delta Television News and Current Affairs Department at the Ernest Ikoli Media Complex, here in Yanagwa, Bayelsa State.
One of NDTV's traditional objectives is to disseminate information with renewed vigor. We build teamwork for accountability, efficiency, and accuracy.
Our community reports, eyewitness accounts, current affairs discussions are detailed and competitive.
As NDTV reporters, undiluted report is our goal. We gather the news and bring it to you just as it is.
Our cameras are poised to get in the story behind the story in an in-depth news report.
Our new digital equipment are top-notch with clearer visuals and audio. NDTV is repositioned to serve you better.
Join us on the news every day at 7 a.m., 12 p.m. and our major bulletin at 7:30 p.m. on Channel 25 UHF. NDTV, crystallizing the vision.
You're welcome back. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has sanctioned 9 deposit banks for failure to make Naira available through their automated teller machines, ATM, during the Yuletide season. Each bank was fined 150 million naira for non-compliance in line with the CBN cash distribution guidelines, following spot checks in their branches. The enforcement action follows repeated warning from the CBN to financial institutions to guarantee seamless cash availability, particularly during periods of high demand. The affected banks are Fidelity Bank PLC, First Bank PLC, Keystone Bank PLC, Union Bank PLC, Globus Bank PLC, Providus Bank PLC, Zenith Bank PLC, United Bank for Africa PLC, and Sterling Bank PLC. Confirming the development, Acting Director of Corporate Communications at the CBN, Hakama Sidi Ali, disclosed that the fines will be debited directly from the bank's accounts with the Apex Bank. He remarked that ensuring seamless cash flow is paramount to maintaining public trust and economic stability. Now to entertainment. 95-year-old Hollywood actress Dallas Curry's body found burnt in Los Angeles home amid wildfires. Actress, scriptwriter, and producer Omoni Oboli responds to accusations of film plagiarism. For details of these and more on entertainment news, let's join the light Oladile.
Actress and filmmaker Omoni Oboli has responded to allegations that her recently released movie, A Different Type of Love, copied another film on YouTube. After receiving feedback from viewers about the striking similarities between the two movies, Omoni Oboli removed A Different Type of Love from her YouTube channel. She addressed the issue on Instagram, explaining that she hired a scriptwriter for the project and is currently investigating what went wrong. Omoni Oboli assured her fans that her channel is committed to originality and that she's working closely with a legal team to resolve the situation. She thanked her fans for their understanding and continued support. On a sad note, Hollywood actress Dallas Curry's body has been found at her Los Angeles home amid the ongoing wildfires. Dallas Curry, who is known for her roles in Blues Brothers, The Ten Commandments, and Lady Sings the Blues, tragically died at 95. Her remains were discovered after her home in Altadena was destroyed in a wildfire, according to TMZ. The devastating incident occurred as the Hilton fire ravaged area east of Los Angeles, engulfing homes and prompting widespread evacuation in Altadena and Pasadena. Curry's passing marks one of at least 24 fatalities linked to the devastating Los Angeles wildfires. Her contribution to the film industry and the memories she leaves behind will not be forgotten. For entertainment news, I am Delight Oladili.
And at the international scene, Yoon Suk Yeol has become South Korea's first sitting president to be arrested after investigators scaled barricades and cut through barbed wire to take him into custody. Yoon, 64, is being investigated on charges of insurrection for a failed martial law order on 3rd December that plunged the country into turmoil. He has also been impeached by parliament and suspended, but will only be removed from office if the Constitutional Court upholds the impeachment. Yoon's dramatic arrest brings an end to a week-long standoff between investigators and his residential security team. It took a much larger team of 1,000 officers armed with ladders blocking the way to scale the walls and bolt cutters to remove barbed wire before they could reach his presidential residence, and arrest him. In a 3-minute video released just before his arrest, the 64-year-old leader said he would cooperate with the investigators while repeating previous claims that the warrant was not legally valid. Meanwhile, investigators said Yoon had remained silent throughout questioning. And to the ever-busy world of sports, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has announced that the 2024 CAF African Nations Championship will be postponed. For details of this report and more on sports stories, let's join Ayemi Miene.
The Confederation of African Football has announced that the 2024 CAF African Nations Championship will be postponed. The African Football Governing Body made the announcement on Tuesday night, just hours before the competition's draw. According to the circular shared on CAF's social media pages, the competition will now begin in August, 7 months after the original kickoff date in February. Nonetheless, the draw, which was originally scheduled for Wednesday, January 15, will go ahead as planned. CAF President Patrice Mosepe also praised the governments of the three host countries, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, for their efforts to ensure the tournament's success. In recent weeks, CAF has come under fire for poor competition planning. However, the main issue is that the host countries are not yet prepared. The majority of the stadiums that will host the games are currently under renovation or construction. Furthermore, some of the teams that are supposed to participate in the competition are not ready or willing due to poor planning and tight schedule. Last night, the Premier League brought to the screens 4 very exciting matches. Forest versus Liverpool, third versus first. Chris Wood gave the hosts the lead early in the first half and almost shut up shop until Liverpool introduced Diogo Jota, who equalized with his first touch, and Murillo in the Forest defense. Liverpool could not get another goal and the game ended 1-1. And in the Brentford versus Man City game, City appeared to be getting back to their winning ways and are taking a 2-0 lead at the GTEC Stadium, but resilient Brentford fought back with Wissa 82 and Norgard 98th strike and a point for the home team. In the West Ham and Fulham game, which was a London derby, Graham Potter's new side won all 3 points by scoring more goals than Marco Silva's team. The Hammers won 3-2 on the 9th, with Alex Iwobi getting a brace in the game. In another London game, Chelsea hosted Bournemouth. The Blues drew 2-2 with the Cherries at Stamford Bridge. Palmer put them ahead early in the first half, and Kluivert and Semenya put the visitors ahead in the second half. Rhys James' strike in the 90th minute earned them a share of the spoils. Tonight, there will be 6 more fixtures, the highlights of which will be the North London derby, Arsenal versus Tottenham. Ayemi Miene for NDTV Sports.
That report from Ayemi Miene concludes the bulletin. But just before we go, Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doye Dewey says his administration will always prioritize the maintenance of law and order, describing it as the foundation of a prosperous Bayelsa State. We also brought to you a report that states in the Southwest are strategizing in response to the reported influx of bandits and rebels from the Islamic State's West Africa province, ISWAP, into some of the region's forests. Report says Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde revealed that bandits fleeing military operations in the Northwest were seeking refuge in the state. And finally in the news, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has sanctioned 9 deposit banks for failure to make Naira available through their automated teller machines, ATM, during the Yuletide season. That's the news. I am George Ameli. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Niger Delta Television News and Current Affairs Department at the NS Equally Media Complex, Yen Yanagwa, Bayelsa State.
One of NDTV's traditional objectives is to disseminate information with renewed vigor. We build teamwork for accountability, efficiency, and accuracy.
Our community reports, eyewitness accounts, current affairs discussions are detailed and competitive.
As NDTV reporters, undiluted report is our goal. We gather the news and bring it to you just as it is.
Our cameras are poised to get in the story behind the story in an in-depth news report.
Our new digital equipment are top-notch with clearer visuals and audio. NDTV is repositioned to serve you better.
Join us on the news every day at 7 a.m., 12 p.m., and our major bulletin at